What if you thought you were completely alone in a secluded cabin, only to discover you never were? Tonight, we're diving into 5 true cabin horror stories, so bone-chilling you'll never want to camp alone again. From uninvited guests hiding in the shadows to uncanny phenomena that defy explanation, each tale will leave you questioning every creak in the night. Stay with me, because the final story isn't just unsettling, it's downright impossible to forget. Story 1. The Hidden Observer. In the summer of 2015, college friends Jenna and Mark rented an off-grid cabin deep in the Colorado Rockies. It was advertised as perfect for stargazing and total privacy. The first 2 nights were blissful campfires, guitar songs and marshmallows roasted under a blanket of stars. But on the 3rd night, they began noticing small footprints outside the cabin, muddy, unseasoned by snow, curving toward the dense pine woods. Jenna was convinced it was a local animal, perhaps a raccoon, until she found these footprints leading back to the back window and then disappearing. Exploration development. That same night, around 2 a.m., they awoke to the unmistakable sound of slow scratching at the bedroom door. Mark grabbed a flashlight and swung open the door. Nothing. No animal, no intruder, just an empty hallway and thick darkness pressing in. They checked the locks, every window latch secure. Heart racing, they chalked it up to nerves and fell back asleep. At dawn, Jenna discovered something even more unsettling. A single, fresh nail clipped and left on her pillow. Mark found his own clipped nail on the floor beside him. Whoever or whatever had been there wasn't just watching, but playing a twisted game. Climax, key moment. The final straw came at midnight on their last night. Both awoke simultaneously to the sound of heavy breathing right beside them. Jenna's eyes snapped open to see a pale handprint smeared across her window, as if someone pressed their face and chest against the cold glass. Mark shone his flashlight, but the beam revealed nothing but swirling dust motes in the air. The breathing stopped. The window fell silent. They fled the cabin in their pajamas, driving off without looking back until the sun rose. Story 2. Footsteps in the Attic. In 2008, newlyweds Tom and Elise purchased an isolated log cabin in northern Michigan. They were enchanted by the rustic charm. Exposed beams, stone fireplace, all the comforts of modern life tucked into the wilderness. Within a week, Tom began hearing footsteps overhead. An Hanniskan forward Devakinakanam has to meter. At first, he thought it was squirrels or raccoons in the attic. He set traps and barricaded any possible entry points, but the footsteps persisted, slow, deliberate pacing in the small space above their heads. Elise dismissed it as Tom, his imagination, until one evening she heard it too, a soft dragging noise like heavy boots across creaky floorboards. She called Tom up to investigate. Armed with flashlights and a baseball bat, they crept up the narrow stairs leading to the attic hatch. They opened the hatch empty. No wildlife, no break-ins, nothing. A gust of cold air swept past them as if someone had exhaled. The hatch slammed shut on its own, just before they managed to close it. Over the next few nights, they found used matches on the attic floor, small piles of sticks arranged in odd geometric patterns, and footprints in fine dust that seemed to circle the attic hatch, always vanishing before reaching the door. Climax. key moment. One morning, Elise discovered fresh scratches gouged into the underside of their bedroom ceiling, long jagged lines that looked like someone had tried to claw their way through. The couple sold the cabin that same day. When the new owner replaced the ceiling, he found an old rotting ladder hidden above the rafters, one that had been pried loose from the floorboards years before.
Story 3: The Static on the Radio. In 2012, survival enthusiast Chris chose a remote Alaskan cabin to film a solo wilderness vlog. He boasted of his independence, vowing to spend 2 weeks completely cut off from civilization, no cell service, no electricity, only the solar-powered radio for weather updates. On day 5, Chris tuned the radio and heard static, but buried within it was a faint, distorted voice saying, "Get out." He chalked it up to radio interference, until the message repeated, clearer, "Get out now." Chris recorded the phenomenon, posting the clip online. Fans were divided, some thought it was a prank, others believed in paranormal interference. Over the next 2 nights, the voice grew more insistent, pleading, even panicked, "They're coming." Each morning he explored deeper into the wilderness with his camera, hoping to find a logical source. Every hike, he returned empty-handed, though his footage often had unexplained anomalies, faces in the shadows, sudden audio dropouts, and once, a faint silhouette wandering behind him. On night 8, the power bank for his radio died. Chris woke to dead silence, only to hear the voice whispering directly into his ear, "I'm here." He bolted upright, dropping the radio. It landed with a crack, yet the static voice continued, now behind him. The video camera, still recording, captured a shadow passing across the lens. Then nothing. He abandoned his gear and hiked 6 miles out in freezing rain. His camera was recovered a week later, lens shattered, tape mangled. When the audio engineer tried to salvage the recording, he swore he heard footsteps pacing around the cabin before the whisper, "I'm here." Story 4: Mirror in the Woods. In 2019, horror blogger Mia discovered an urban legend about a mirror cabin in the Black Forest of Germany. Locals claimed that inside the cabin, every mirror reflects not your own image, but that of the previous visitor, often trapped forever. Driven by curiosity, Mia and 2 friends located the dilapidated cabin. Its windows were boarded up, and the door creaked like a dying animal. Inside, they found only a single ornate mirror leaning against a wall, framed intricately carved with twisted faces. Mia peered into the mirror, expecting darkness, but saw herself smiling back, except she wasn't smiling. Her reflection's grin was twisted, eyes black pits. She stumbled back, heart pounding. Her friends laughed it off until Sarah pressed her palm against the glass and recoiled, screaming. Her palm print remained transparent. Over the next hour, each of them faced reflections that whispered secrets. Mia heard her mother's voice begging for rescue. Tom saw a bleeding hand reaching out. Sarah's reflection mouthed, "Stay with me," again and again. Mia's camera captured hours of static until, at midnight, the reflection stepped forward, out of the mirror. In the footage, you see the glass ripple like water, then a pale hand emerge. Mia ran, but the door slammed shut. The last shot is of her reflection smiling as she presses her face against the glass, trapped. Her camera was found months later, smashed but intact, with a final text overlay, "I'm sorry. I couldn't let her out."
Story 5: The Phantom Visitor. In December 1997, Jack and Lucy inherited an old hunting lodge in rural Maine. They planned a cozy Christmas away from the city. The lodge had a history, once owned by a hermit woodsman named Abel, who vanished without a trace. On Christmas Eve, they discovered a carved wooden doll perched on the windowsill, beyond the cabin's small porch, where no one could have placed it without being seen. They assumed it was a prank by a neighbor. That night they heard someone humming a lullaby outside the door, a tune supposedly sung by Abel's daughter, who died in infancy. Every few hours they'd wait till the doll moved. Now sitting on the rocking chair, now on the table beside their bed, always facing inward, as if watching. Their holiday video footage shows flickering candlelight, and in the reflection of the glass, a dark figure looming in the doorway, silent still. At 3 a.m., Lucy awoke to find the bedroom door ajar. She sat up and in the dim glow saw the doll levitating mid-air, slowly rotating to face her. Its carved eyes seemed to glint in the firelight. Then came the whisper, "Merry Christmas." She bolted from the cabin, with Jack close behind. They never returned. The doll remains locked in their car trunk, where, according to Jack, it sometimes moves. 5 cabins, 5 true stories, from hidden observers to phantom voices. The woods aren't as empty as we like to think. Each story reminds us isolation can be the ultimate terror. And sometimes the things we can't see are the ones we should fear most. Call to action next video. If you thought these tales were bone-chilling, click to watch our next video on 6 haunted hotels that you should never stay in.